Hello Lions fans, welcome back to our next Lions Lowdown season preview video. As today we will preview the 2015 Molloy College softball season with head coach Susan Cassidy-Lyke. Susan, thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jack.
Coach, let's begin as we always do with a recap from last year. Last year your team finished with a 30-22-1 overall record and a 27-1 conference record, earning a 6th straight trip to the East Coast Conference postseason tournament. That's a long, sustained run of success that you guys have had. What do you sort of attribute to that success?
I think we can attribute that to good practices where we work on all the fundamentals, a good commitment from all our players starting in September when they first start here, and understanding that this is the tradition that we want to keep. We understand that we expect nothing less, and we have very high expectations.
All right, Susan, your team just returned from the NFCA Division II Leadoff Classic in Arizona. Please give us a feel on what it was like playing those nationally competitive teams, including the defending national champion for Division II, and what you saw out of your team in their first games of the season.
Well, it was a great opportunity. We feel like if we want to be in the World Series at the end of the season, that we need to see these teams now. So I think that's a great opportunity. We also have 9 new freshmen, so for them to get acclimated and put on the big stage early is a good start. We saw a lot of competitiveness. I like a lot what I saw. I kept on telling the girls that these are the best teams, and I felt like we belonged.
All right, Susan, now let's dive into your roster. First off, can you please speak about the veterans returning in Brianne Catalano, Tracey Balinskas, Brenda Lee, and Victoria Gunnels, and what their leadership means to this team?
Well, obviously, those 4 players have been great players for us over the last 3 and 4 years. And with 9 freshmen, we really need them to lead the way. Tracey left off with her great first 2 seasons where she was a first-team all-conference player at 2 different positions. Now we have her in the circle again and a little bit of left field. But she did a great job in the circle, and her hitting, is exactly where we expected it out of the 3-hole. Brenda Starr studied at second base. She made a lot of great plays, and I actually used both of them as examples for our freshmen. I said, if you want to know how I expect you to play and what I'm looking for, just take a look at those 2. Bree, she'll be in right field again. Last year she was playing spot time in right field. She'll be our steady right fielder and batting out of the 9 spot. So she's actually offered a lot of leadership for our number 1 slot person, Olivia Banowsky. So, and Victoria, she's very good defensively. She'll be hitting in the 5 slot, and she showed her power early on in the season with a 3-run homer.
All right, leadership will be important this year, especially guiding the newcomers. As you mentioned, you have brought in 9 freshmen to the program this year. Could you please speak about a couple of those freshmen that should have an immediate impact for the Lions this year?
Yeah, 9 freshmen's a lot, and actually they outnumber the rest of the upperclassmen. But we're excited about all of them. We have many of them starting. Alex Russo, she'll be starting behind the plate this year, and she did well in her first 6 games. Defensively, she's very good. We feel that she can throw out runners. She plays a great game, and she actually calls a great game. So we're very impressed with her. Going straight up the middle, we have Brianna Dalton out of Pennsylvania. She'll be playing shortstop. Now, Nicolette Sinagra, our graduating senior, is a tough act to follow. But Brianna did a great job defensively, and she'll be hitting in the 4 or 5 hole for us. So we expect some offensive power from her. In center field, we have Olivia Banowsky. Olivia is a true center fielder and gets a very good read on the ball, going in and out, and has a good arm, and we like what she offers in the 1 slot.
All right, Coach, you've been to the playoffs for 6 straight years. As I mentioned before, you've won 3 East Coast Conference championships, been to 2 College World Series. What are your expectations for this year?
We talk about that a lot, and we want no let-up. So our expectations, obviously, are to represent ourselves in the East Coast Conference Championship. That will be our first goal. We want to play well enough regionally that we're ranked and automatically make the regionals. And then, obviously, we see ourselves as having an opportunity to advance to the World Series.
All right, let's quickly handicap the East Coast Conference. Which teams are you looking out for this season?
I think they're all tough. I think when we played last year, we saw that everybody's level of play has elevated, which is great for our conference. CW Post, LIU Post, obviously coming off their berth to the World Series, always is a contender and a very difficult one and a big team in the East region. So, I find them first off as our biggest competition. Next we have Queens College. They had a very good season last year and gave us a little bit of a struggle. So I anticipate that being difficult, and actually I could see that from anybody. We have a new coach in St. Thomas Aquinas, so I think they'll be a big surprise for everybody, and we'll see where we go there.
Thanks again for the time today, Susan. I really appreciate it. Fans, that was Susan Cassidy-Lyke, head softball coach here at Molloy College. Fans, don't forget you can always find links to live stats as well as audio-video broadcasts and recaps, box scores, news, notes, and analysis for your Lions softball team by logging on to MolloyLions.com. Best of luck this year, Coach. All right, Lions fans, we continue our softball chat today as we welcome in Molloy senior outfielder Brianne Catalano and junior pitcher outfielder Tracey Balinskas. Bree, Tracey, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. Tracey, let's start with you. First question I have for you guys. Take us into a day in the life of a Molloy softball player during preseason.
Okay, so we returned from our winter break earlier than everyone else. So we come back a few days into January, and then we go at 6 o'clock in the morning for about 6 out of the 7 days of the week. So we'll wake up at 5, practice at 6, and then we'll go to class. And then we'll have the rest of the day to do whatever we need to do, and then we do it all again the next day, next morning.
The busy life of a student athlete.
Yes, certainly.
All right, thanks for that. And Bree, next question is for you. You're entering your senior season this year. How different will this campaign be for you, knowing it's your final year in a Lions uniform?
Well, it's definitely sad. I worked really hard the last 3 years, and I'm excited to be a senior and play the leadership role for the freshmen we have as well as the sophomores. This year we have 9 freshmen, and I really think my role as a senior, I'm very outspoken and I show them the ins and outs and everything that we go through and try and lead them into the right direction. So when I leave and I'm no longer here, they could become a leader.
All right, Tracey, next one is for you. Quite simply put, what are your expectations for your team this year?
I'm really excited because I think we're going to surprise everyone in the conference and in our area. I'm ready for these freshmen to step up and the returning players to just excel from last season and pick up where we left off. Our coach said we have some unfinished business, and I think that's what we're going to capitalize that and really just come out and surprise everyone. I agree.
All right, final question. This one is directed at Bree. With all the success your team has had over the last 3 years, the ECC championships, the appearances in regionals and the World Series, how does that help you as a senior set a leadership example for the freshmen on this year's squad?
I think this is a good opportunity for the freshmen to actually see that we've been successful for the last couple of years. And I think that will help them work harder and want to keep being successful as a freshman. I know coming in as a freshman, I had a very successful team, and that wanted me to work harder. So we continue to be a great team. And I think the freshmen are working really hard. We have a great team. And I think we're going to prove to everyone we'll be a great team, and they don't know what's coming to them. Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks again, Bree and Tracey, for taking the time out to speak with us today. Fans, that was Brianne Catalano and Tracey Balinskas on your Molloy Lions softball team. Best of luck this year.
Thank you.